Peace and love, everybody. This is Curtis Blair here with Translation. I'm here with my co-host, Nick Beam. What is going on, big dog? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling excited about getting this venture off the ground, man. It's a long time coming. So,
Definitely.
Putting Translation Media together, it's overdue, man.
It's definitely overdue. I've been on your head about a lot of things, man. We've been talking about this, and we finally come to fruition. I've been traveling a lot, moving around, doing a lot of business things, and you've been doing the things yourself, man. I'm local. I'm a local guy. So basically, from that standpoint, man, why are you here, man? Tell a little bit of people about Nick Beam, who you are, what you do. And I'm going to get back to telling about myself a little bit here as well, because they want to know about it. We got some fans out here.
Great question, man. Great question. I mean, to put it in perspective, I like to akin myself to a Swiss Army knife.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've spoken to many different groups, educated different groups on just some of my experiences. And by the time I get done with that conversation, I'm like, oh, man, how do you fit all that into your life's experience? And I'm like, look, a lot of it was failing forward, but I worked in sports. I worked in fashion, entertainment. I got a corporate experiences ranging over 20 plus years between marketing, branding, sales, corporate training, customer service, hospitality. Also served the military, Air Force Reserve, so I'm a veteran. And yeah, man, like all of these different experiences shaped who I've become.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been able to pretty much utilize my services in everything that I do, literally everything that I do. So, in a nutshell, yeah, that's me. And as we progress through our show and different shows, you'll hear me talk about some of these experiences, but I save it for later.
Okay.
On to you, big fella.
Okay, a little bit about this big dog over here, man. We Kurt is a interesting character, man. I am a serial entrepreneur. Some people say I do too much, but I say I'm not doing enough. Because I'm always trying to help people. In that capacity, I've become a big relationship guy. I am big on helping people. I'm big on educating myself, and also this, like you said, paying it forward to the people that's with the information and the knowledge that you've gained over your life. So, like you said, I failed forward as well in many capacities. I've been a multimillionaire a couple times over, and I've also lost it. So, but at the same time, if you don't get back up when you brush yourself off, I mean, you're really not an entrepreneur.
That's
right. I like to liken myself to be an entrepreneur. Done a few things. I was a college basketball player, played in Germany for about a year and a half. Bad back with the Larry Bird back. Maybe retire. I used to sit on the sideline with heat packs and ice packs on my back. And I mean, it was like, let me just tap out. And so at that point in time, I knew that was around the time when Jay-Z was making songs, Change Clothes, and, he was wearing button-ups and suits. So when I came back home, I was just like, man, I want to wear a suit. I want to be in a corporate boardroom. I want to be a part of all that. And I became an insurance agent, a financial advisor. So it was twofold. I got to wear the suits, but I got to learn a little bit what was behind the curtain when it came to the financial arena. And it's really eye-opening about how the financial arena impacts people and the lack of education that is given to our communities or, communities in general. There's so many different aspects of it, but at the same time, if you don't learn it, I mean, I guess most people say it as ignorance is bliss. So, but once you do pull back that curtain, good Lord, your eyes are open and you got to be on a mean streak about trying to get wealthy and wealth and accumulate as many assets as you can. So, I've was an athlete, so I kind of take a soft heart to athletes, and then also try to educate them in that capacity as well. So it's just a ongoing journey of trying to educate myself, but also paying it forward, giving it back, and taking people with me on that journey.
That's right.
So that's the reason why you and I connected about 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago.
7, 8 years, yeah.
I mean, I touched down here in Vegas, and man, we've had a close bond and relationship ever since. Lost touch for a hot second, but we back in the saddle, and the creative juices started flowing. Big dog,
locked in for sure. I'm excited, man. We talked a lot about this.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to put this idea together, and our minds are so much alike.
For sure.
Just in my experience, and again, I got a love for athletes too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because a lot of the stock comes from where we're from. You being from Chicago, me from Cleveland, we get a chance to see a lot of guys go through the ringer.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
There's been plenty of stories about financial advisors taking advantage of athletes. There's been a lack of education toward how athletes should be managing their business and really utilizing the time that they take while they're actually playing, actively playing. Some guys usually figure it out once they hang up the cleats or hang up the gym shoes, right?
Right.
And fair enough, if you have the personality and the business acumen to go on, you'll become successful because you'll be able to take what you've learned in your experiences in sports
For sure.
and go out there and have that drive. But sometimes a lot of these guys get taken through the ringer and they just have no idea, because we weren't being taught this. When you talk about insurance, I remember the guys used to knock the door and sell the burial insurance, life insurance, right?
$20,000, $25,000.
Yeah.
And that'll bury you, all right.
Yeah, sure.
It ain't leaving no legacy though.
But as an 18-year-old, I'm go get my grandmother, and I'm like, I'm not thinking about this.
Right.
And I had a homie, actually really successful insurance agent, and we're his cousin is my homie.
Mm-hmm.
We were acquaintances. We actually played on a basketball team together, and I used to remember seeing him driving around. He used to have a real nice car back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, nice was a Honda Accord in Cleveland.
Right.
So you 16 with a Honda Accord, 17, you doing it. But he had like a caddy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, then he had furs and all kind of stuff. So that's,
this all off insurance?
That's extra. Yeah, I promise you. I promise you it is, because his father was an insurance agent. So I think it was more so his daddy's money.
He the legacy.
Daddy's money, yeah.
Okay, got you.
But me, I don't know. I'm naive to it, and I'm definitely not thinking about death, So for me, it's nothing that excites me. But had you told me that there was an insurance policy that guarantees cash value and all you had to do was lock in for 7 years, I'm like, sign me up. These type of things, these are the stories where, the Harbaugh brothers, one of them, took a new salary with a life insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney funds Disney World with a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
This not the stuff that they teach us out back in the hood, man.
Oh, man, no, definitely. It ain't taught, but also even still, sometimes I'm going to say this, when we're probably around the age that you were at, you would have fallen on deaf ears still if I would have told you that information.
1,000.
Because I told so many of my peers, get this life insurance policy with me, get this life insurance policy. But at that point in time, between the ages of, when you're hopping out of college and getting a job and trying to figure yourself out where your next step is, the only thing people really interested in is their 401k and the life insurance policy and using that in investment form. Unless you're really savvy, you come from a really savvy background, that education, it takes so long for you to take hold because, you got to talk to people about, their cell phone bills or, their cable bills. And, then also it's the at that age, the young lifestyle that you're trying to live, trying to be outside. Everybody was outside.
Absolutely.
I was outside. So
was I.
So that, that transfers into, you spending your money on a regular basis. But the next thing you know, you see that $150 come out of your account. And you get amnesia 6 months later about where that $150 is going.
Right.
But then you try to reiterate what you're doing it for, and eventually they just cut that old check-o-matic off and it'd be right back to the the nitty-gritty. So I was just trying to keep people on for a year so I get my commissions and move on.
That's real, yeah. What you do after that, let me get paid.
Yeah, exactly. You let me get paid, man. Yeah. So, man, so what define what's your definition of translation? What are we talking about on this show, man? What are the people going to hear about?
Well, I think translation is a combination of everything, right? Pop culture.
Right.
How we're able to translate to not only just our culture, but the culture around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, you have to translate.
Exactly.
And so when I think about translation media, I think we're more than experienced and seasoned enough that we're able to translate to the masses. And I know that's our goal, I know that we're capable. We do it in real time.
For sure.
So it only made sense for us to put this show together.
Yeah.
So we can translate it even further out, because anybody that knows us individually and together and collectively, they know that we reach any room, and we've duplicated it tenfold.
For sure.
There's no reason why I can generate millions of dollars for a Fortune 500 company and I'm dressed like this. I've always, going back, I admired the Russell Simmons and, the guys like that where they could go in. He got his Argyle sweater with a Yankee fitted on, and he's the one leading the meeting, You look at today, Mark Zuckerberg, that I've never seen this dude in a suit. So growing up, we were taught that the suits run the world when it could be a guy in a hoodie, or fitted hat, t-shirt, whatever. Now I'm not saying I can't put it on, you know what I'm saying? Like I like a good suit, but the suit doesn't determine how successful I can be. It's my brain and my life's experiences and the things that have translated over to me over the course of time. So, you talk about sports, there's business needed there.
For sure.
You talk about entertainment, there's business needed there. Fashion, anything, music, all of the things, there's some form of business because our world is based off of the economy. It's economic.
Yeah.
So these are all the things that drive our local and international economy.
For sure. So
these things translate. And I can play on the words all day, but that's what it means to me. What about you?
Well, you know how it is, man. I brought this idea to you, man. It was just how you and I articulate so well to different genres of people, like you said, from the streets to the boardroom. And, and I got, like I said, one day I can be in a suit in a boardroom leading a meeting, but at the same time, a young boy saw that when we were at ComplexCon, man, I just saw you in a suit. I said, but I can be with 100 goons tomorrow.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
just never know.
Yeah, you just never know. But at the same time, like that's the what I've become in my life and in my journey. It's really about, translating how I can help somebody or better help them to understand the education that I've gotten or the street smarts that I've been given or the knowledge that's been coming in different aspects of things that I've done. So like I said, I fell forward and I've learned some things that I'm bumped my head in different capacities. So it's about translating that to somebody else so they don't have to make those same mistakes.
I love it.
The OGs, did that for me a long time ago. There's a guy that was named as Michael O'Neal. He took me under his wing. He was a savvy guy, God rest his soul. My father was another one, and before he passed, he told me, Kurt, man, like, when I'm going to leave with you is relationships are the most key important things in life. That's the reason why I try to be a big relationship guy. And, I talk about that. I'm a big on collaboration. I'm big on helping people that can also bring back and find different talents that we can utilize in different capacities.
Right.
Because if somebody believed in me at one point in time, somebody took me under their wing. My uncle took me under their wing when my father passed. I had another gentleman named Kenny Davis. He took me under his wing when my father passed, and they kept. My mother made sure I kept those male figures around me to make sure that I didn't fall out by the way, so I'd become a sissy. And that or soft. I don't want to say sissy, but soft. Soft in that capacity. And I was raised by real strong men in my community. So that's me just doing the same thing and paying that forward and translating to the younger or individual, a man of my peer, or even older individual. Because right now, the thing about translating, like, I'm not a big social media guy.
Right.
But
that has to change, but go ahead.
It's changed now.
It's changing, yeah.
It's changing. You've seen me on my social media. Time. Like, my social media is on blow up right now because I'm learning from some young people that are translating for me.
Facts.
So they're translating in and I'm helping, and they're helping me learn the social media game in order to monetize that.
Right.
So that's where I'm at in that standpoint. So right now, so translating is ongoing for me.
Right.
And that's the reason why I live by it. And that collaboration and the translation and all that stuff is really just kept me motivated to be able to keep learning, but also keep trying to figure out a way to, empower our community.
Absolutely.
So, that's the dope thing about us, man. That's how we came together. You were doing some things, and I said, Nick, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And he was like, shoot, let's do it.
Facts.
But at the same time, I can't, not everybody can, have that foresight or that creativity that I saw in you. And I was like, man, I know Nick can do, we could take off with this.
Appreciate it.
And everybody's not to be able to partner up in that capacity.
Yeah, everybody serve different roles.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know what I mean? Obviously, we know how to utilize them to everybody's benefit, not to our benefit, but because I agree, I'm big on ecosystem. You've heard me preach this. Every conversation I'm having, I'm immediately going in with a service-minded attitude on how we can help each other.
For sure.
Because that's the most important thing. No egos. There's little ego to drive the competition. But at the end of the day, I'm big on not big dogging people, because you just never know where people are at. You never know who you're talking to.
Exactly.
And I've always been like that.
Me too.
And I agree with you. Like, male influence is extremely important. I want to make that very well known off the cuff. Male influence is very important, the right male influence. And having the right mentors, having people that can guide you. See, I come from a very young family. You know, my parents had me when they were 18 and 19 years old. So, and I love them. I have a great relationship with them both. But when it comes to learning, we were all learning together. You know, we had friends of the family that we consider family. Where my best friend at the time, childhood friend, his older brother is my uncle's age. You know what I'm saying? So I'm almost looking at my mom, not in a weird way, but my mom and my uncles like brothers and sisters, because when I was born, I was the firstborn on everything: nephew, son, grandson, blah, blah, blah.
So you was everybody's apple of the eye, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody took care of
the village raised me.
For sure.
And so when I was born, it wasn't because my mom wasn't capable. My grandmother just like, yo, you know, go figure it out. He's here with me. And I had that bond with not only just my maternal grandmother, but my paternal grandmother as well. But I always yearned the male connection in a very safe and heterosexual way. I have to say that. It's 2025. So, and nothing wrong, you know, I'm not, you know, ruffling any feathers with that, but what I mean is a strong male influence is important because you gotta know where to shoot. So, you know, for me, I had younger uncles and they were all figuring it out. You know, I had uncles in the military. That's where that military thing came from. Used to watch one of my favorite uncles come home from the Army and hated when he left, you know, because he was my everything. And I loved all my uncles, like really to call him my favorite. I had a liking for each and every one of them.
Oh, me too, man.
You know what I'm saying?
My uncles have great relationships.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then I had my grandfather. He was that guy, you know. So, you know, even my dad's super cool, you know. But when I look at how I grew up, I'm like, yo, everybody's young. Like being an adult now, having children of my own, and just thinking about like I couldn't imagine what I would have done at 18 and 19 years old. So I give a lot of grace. But in order to get grace, you have to go through experience. And once you get that experience, you start to realize like, hey, if you can touch or impact every, you know, younger male that you come across in a productive and positive, safe way, it goes a long way. You may not get that gratification or that appreciation immediately, but it'll pay off in the long run. Like I got brothers 10 and 12 years younger than me. And my brother that's 12 years younger than me thanks me every day. Like almost breaks me down, you know, emotionally, because we were distant. You know, when he was 10, I was 20, or when he was 10, I was 22. And I was out the house. Like you said, I was outside. So, you know, at moments where they were having challenges, I'm like, man, do I need to pull up and stand next to him? And, you know, I talk to my mom. My mom like, nah, what you're doing is more of an impact anyway. You know, that beyond coming back home and being next to them, you know, they get a chance to see somebody that's in their life that's out trying to figure it out. And my brother, my younger brother, came back and kind of gave me a full circle moment about that. So that put a battery in my back for sure. You know, but I agree with you. Everything you said about how we've had to be mentored and then also mentor the next up, you know, it's very important. And then, like you said, we get mentorship from each other. We're not that far in age from each other. So there's aspects where I can mentor you and there's aspects you're mentoring me. You know, again, the only way it becomes a conflict when the egos are involved.
For sure.
You know, but if we are trying to get to a common goal, and that's to uplift each other, and that's to make sure that we're embracing each other and putting each other on to where we all can eat, you got to put the ego to the side.
For sure.
You know, and I agree with everything that you're saying, you know, which makes this partnership, you know, even better because we've been on the same page since we've known each other. And now we get a chance to show the world what type of time we on.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, definitely, man. And it's going to shine through. And we're going to continue to grow and build our relationship, but also all the other projects that we're working on.
Oh, man.
That we're going to keep too close to our vest and keep it a secret until it's time. You know what I'm saying? Stay in the shadows until it's time. That's what that little meme says. So, I mean, that's where we at with it, and we're going to continue to, you know, step on people's necks, and we're going to make sure that they feel it. But at the same time, if they feel it and they like it, it's an open door policy. Come on in and join the team, man. I'm an open door policy. So a lot of people are you know, a little bit egotistical when it comes to collaboration. Not us.
No.
I mean, we're here for everybody, and we want to make sure that, you know, the world is going to be able to have the same capabilities as us and opportunities, or even a better opportunity. So You got a sports background as well.
Yes.
How's sports been an impact on your life? Because that's going to be a big part of what we're doing and how the conversations that we're having.
So, man, I've had a interesting sports background.
Mm-hmm.
I play basketball. Now,
can you hoop?
A little bit. Yeah, look, I'm all right.
All right.
I'm all right. Like, you know what? I look at it. I'm 6'2.5", right?
Okay.
And I look at what the guys my height or in the height range, and we ain't got to say the names. We know who they are today. The Kyries and the Currys.
Yeah.
And, even the new boy, VJ Edgecombe, I don't even think he's over 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
But, he reminds me a lot of Steve Francis, Baron Davis.
Athletic.
Yeah, you have to have crazy skill sets. So whether you have a crazy, insane dribble, insane shot, or you can jump out of the gym,
mm-hmm.
you have to have that in your bag when you're going into the league that height because you're at a disadvantage. Growing up, my mom played basketball. She was real nice. Like, she got more – I think she might have more trophies than everybody in the house when it comes to hooping.
What was your primary sport growing up?
Basketball.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, proud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually wearing a Cleveland lid, but I support a lot of Vegas.
You definitely repping Cleveland heavy.
Yeah, I love where I'm from. I love where I'm from.
For sure.
But I went to Glenville. I'm from the Glenville community.
Uh-huh.
And we're big on football.
Okay.
Now, all of this, I can get real long-winded with how football started at Glenville, but it happened around the year I was there.
Okay.
Ted Ginn Sr., who is the football coach there, he was building a powerhouse right in front of my eyes. Hindsight, looking back, I'm like, whoa. And he actually told me, he's like, I came in the 9th grade, 6 foot, 175 pounds. Now, that's not the biggest cat, when it comes to hooping, but that's prime for football. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I never played. I played in the streets and stuff like that.
Right.
But no organized, no pads, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way basketball works, this, is if you're one sport, you got to condition.
For sure.
But if you're coming off a football season, you don't have to condition.
Mm-hmm.
You go right in from football season into basketball season. So
I trying to condition.
When you know what? No, I was down.
Okay.
But so naturally I would go out and play. I played in Hoop It Up. I played in tournaments. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like a dark horse.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't, the homies that knew me knew I can go.
Right.
But I wasn't on the radar because I wasn't in our newspapers or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had popularity too. So, I had that in my favor, but it just, from a political standpoint on the sports side, like that wasn't working for me because I wasn't supposed to go to Glenville for sports at all, or just in general. I ended up there. My grandmother stayed right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And, I remember showing up to conditioning, and these dudes are huge. In fact, the guy that was the guy when I got there is the assistant coach for UNLV. His name's Anthony Wilkins.
Okay.
Yeah. Poonsy. Yeah, he goes by, boy, he probably don't want us to tell us his nickname. But Ant was the guy at Glenville first.
Right.
And then, but he's like 6'5",
mm-hmm.
And dude, the shooting guard was 6'2", the small forward was 6'6", the power forward was 6'6", 6'7", and the center was like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". So like, it's nobody under 6 foot. Like, and then everybody in the gym in the hood is either hella nice or they huge. So I come in, I'm like, man, these dudes are giants, and as a 9th grader.
Yeah.
But I remember giving it my all. I'm doing conditioning. I'm doing all the drills. And Ted Ginn Sr. used to come into the practices because some of his guys were coming from practice or from the games this season into basketball.
So Ted Ginn, he has a son as a football player,
Ted Ginn Jr., yes. Right. Ted Ginn Jr. is nice.
So his father was the basketball coach or the football coach?
His father was the football coach.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was a football coach in women's track.
Hmm.
And so he would come to our practice, and I remember him pulling me to the side, and he tried to recruit me. And I found an excuse not to play. I called my mom. My mom was like, I don't know, you never play. I'm scared you get injured. And I use that as an excuse I shouldn't have.
Right.
Because what he was trying to instill in me at the time was, hey, what you want to do is you want to get a full tuition. That's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
If you make it pro, then great. But you want to get a full ride. And I'm getting guys full ride. I got guys that played on my team that have never played football in their life.
Right.
So he was telling me this. He told me it's probably like for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And, I was just kind of like, felt like I was getting caught. I'm like, I appreciate it. I'm still thinking about it.
Right.
After a while, he didn't talk to me about it no more.
Mm.
And he was also a security guard. So the entrance that I would enter in, I had to see him. every day almost.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was still love, but you know, him recruiting me, that window had passed.
Right.
And fast forward, he committed, I want to say 9 D1 athletes that made the paper, and it was pipeline ever since. He's pipeline guys at O State, Michigan, all over, Indiana, you name it. He's
solidified.
Yeah, he solidified. I mean, Troy Smith, Heisman winner, that's my boy. These O State guys, you know. So Pierre Woods played with Tom Brady in Michigan, and he played with him in New England. Mm-hmm. So these are my guys. You know, I've been knowing Pierre since we were in elementary school. He was always huge. This dude, he was 6'5", you know. So, and I think he might have been like 6'3" when he was in 8th grade.
Right.
Anyway, so I played. You know, I wasn't the star of my team. I was off the bench. And, I mean, I played small forward. So, immediately, I'm 6'2" at small forward.
Right.
I could pull up very physical. But, you know, ball handling was okay. I wasn't super quick. Very fundamentally sound. You know, so I was like an akin to like a Shane Battier or something like that. You know, a guy you want on the court, but you're not starting at my point guard. You know, you're not going to be a center or a power forward. You know, you're right at that small forward spot. Now, if I was like 6'4" doing that, then I would have been in a better space. Because 6'4" is way different than 6'2".
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
You know how that go.
Definitely.
So, you know, 6'5", I think I would have been on somebody's roster, at least in Europe. You know,
man, we can't talk about what speculative height, boy. If I'd have been, give me 6'8", I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
Oh my God, it'd been a different situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, speculative height. I'm just saying, my work ethic was there.
Oh, for sure.
It's just that when it came down to the work outside of it, I just didn't have the guidance because I wasn't on everybody's radar.
Right.
So it wasn't. I had one guy who used to be in the rec center named Jay Miller. And what was happening is our team was like a gauntlet. We had a lot of guys on JV. We had no freshman team. Now, just because I know people get clowned. Jalen Rose clown Skip about being on JV, but unfortunately, our program was set up. We didn't have a freshman team.
Yeah.
So we rolled deep on JV, and some guys were in 11th grade on JV. Did not mean you didn't have go.
Right.
It's just the way that the program was set up. And
that's the way the program was set up in Indianapolis when I was.
It sucks.
Oh my God.
It sucks. You just don't. Yeah, you could fall by the waistline easy.
When I mentor kids now and I tell them about situations, I'm like, man, go where they're gonna allow you to play.
Yeah.
And go where they're gonna allow you to, you know, like when the kid I brought up through high school here in Las Vegas, Sebastian, he, you know, we were trying to figure out what school we was gonna go to, and I'm like, you know, his mom was asking me, and I was just like, man, we're gonna Bishop Gorman. I was just like, nah.
Right.
What else is out there? I was like, is he going to be able to start varsity as a freshman?
Right.
She was like, nah. And they were like, nah, we're going to come up. We're going to play behind this kid and that kid. Now, granted, those kids were good. But at the same time, he was at a good enough skill set to be able to play varsity as a freshman. And so I was just like, man, nah, he needs to go someplace where he needs, not necessarily start, but just play varsity. And because I experienced that growing up. I had the skill set because I used to work out with some of the guys that was on varsity all the time. So I'm like, I know I can play with them. So why can't I, you know, why you putting me on freshman JV? Why I got to come up through the ranks? And I'm even one better. And there's some guys that was better than me at that point in time because they were older and more developed. But at the same time, like the guard that was starting freshman, I mean, he was a starting varsity. He was a freshman, and he started for like 3 or 4 years. And you know, at that school, I'm just like, man, that's where the politics came in to where, you know, I was just like, man, I should have went someplace else for school. And then eventually I did end up transferring because, you know, I told the coach, I was like, I mean, you made me waste my 3 years messing with you, and I could have been at a better place, in a better situation if I would have just went someplace and been playing. Because of speed, if you learn it as a freshman, and the speed and the transaction and the physicality as a freshman, and by the time you get to be a junior, senior, the game slows down, and now your IQ and your decision making is going to be that much more quicker and sooner. So that's the reason why I don't like people going to just loading up on a school just because of a name or because of a history.
Right.
Go make your own name. Go make your own history at another program. But also saying programs are developed every day.
Yep.
So that's how you get to be better as a basketball player, by going through those bumps and bruises. That's the reason why like 21 and 32 was such a key for us growing up.
Yeah.
Because they don't really play that stuff now. They don't go to just a court and just, you know, the ball is rolled out and you say, hey, we're going to play 32, 30, 21 and figure it out. somebody get to 20 or 19, and that's that last basket, bro. You got to go against 6, 7 people to try to get that last basket. Man, that's IQ development. That's problem solving. That's, I mean, so many different traits come from those battles that people really just don't understand. And I just think that, you know, it's a lost art nowadays because everybody wants to be a trainer. Some of the best trainers is being in that fire, big dog.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's the things that trains us and teaches us as we come up, you know. And I think I've been through a lot of adversity, you know, because I wasn't the man. You know, I had a solid relationship with the basketball coach. He unfortunately passed my senior year, but, you know, it did shape a lot of my experiences. Unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity to be posted in the Plain Dealer, which is our local newspaper. You know, I think my biggest moment in the Plain Dealer was actually my boy, Wayne Walker. Wayne, I think, went for something crazy on the stat lines for a neighboring high school, Shaw High School, and he put that I was one of his favorite basketball players. So I thought that was big.
Okay.
You know, and again, I had respect, you know, from the guys in the community that I played against.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just didn't translate over until, you know, being the big dog on the team, you know. And so from there, actually, I was like, you know what? If I can't play, I want to be as close to the game as possible. So I actually enrolled in the Bowling Green State University under sport management. Later changed it to communications and liberal studies.
Right.
Because after a while, I was like, I got other views and interests. And to be honest, I'm a nerd, super nerd. And I'm into like science and like astronomy specifically and metaphysics and stuff like that. So I balance my life between nerding out on some Neil deGrasse shit, you know, and
okay, Bruce Wayne.
But I also love, you know, pop culture.
Right.
I was watching Mike Jack and Janet Jackson on stage and Prince, and my grandmother listened to the blues. And
that's because you was cultured. That's because you got good family background, man. You cultured. I mean, I got the same thing. I used to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know, Sounds of Blackness. I don't know if you know who Sounds of Blackness is. So, I mean, growing up, man, Lionel Richie, I mean, Anita Baker, I mean, all those different type of artists grow up and shape and mold me. Definitely Michael Jackson. I went to a Michael Jackson concert before I even knew who he was.
Yeah, I wish I.
And I was a little kid, but at the same time, like, I just knew there was girls out there fainting over a man. I was like, I don't know. Is he walking on water? Is he spraying holy water on people?
Damn, but you would think
exactly. I mean, that dude
moonwalking. He's walking on the moon.
Yeah, exactly. His concerts was epic, and as you grow up and as you see it even more and more, I was like, man, Mike Jack was that guy. Prince was that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, these artists are iconic, even in the big sense of the term. So, like, man, this is tell a bit about my story when it comes to sports. Man, sports has been an integral part of my life. It has shaped and molded who I am today as a competitor and as being a leader and a determined individual. Because I was a point guard my whole life. My whole family raises point guards. That's all we know how to do is make point guards and guards. So, you know, I always looked up to my older cousins. My other cousins, Sean and Jared, were the pinnacle for me, even though eventually I got better than them both. But at the same time, that's where I wanted to be at. That's who I wanted to be. My cousin played at Virginia Tech. And, you know, I used to be able to watch him on TV. So those are who I looked up to as opposed to, you know, except Michael Jordan. You know, Michael Jordan was that guy.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, but during your time, you just figure out little nuances about different people. But, you know, I was a Michael Jordan fan. And the next up was probably my cousin Sean.
Right.
And so following those footsteps, we used to be at each other. We used to get up and work out with them and everything else like that. So it was just a goal of mine just to continuously get better and better. And then my uncle took me under his wing, and that's when I started going back into Fortress, Chicago, because my father passed away, and he took me under his wing. So every summer I was in Chicago playing ball, but also I was in the streets of Indianapolis playing ball as well. Yeah. And you know, my good friends, and I finally ended up getting a car because my mom, you know, didn't want to take me back and forth to practice. She was like, I'm tired of doing it. So now I'm running around the streets of Indianapolis with a car and just going to go hoop.
Yep.
But it kept me out of trouble. And that was the main thing about it. But I just had a love and a passion for it. And then my father also built a hoop in the driveway. And it was my therapy. I used to just go outside, just dribble the ball to get away from any issues that I had, and also long term, even still today, basketball is a therapy for mine, hopping on that basketball court.
Oh yeah.
But you know, my journey was, you know, like you said, I was never really the man, but I was always really good and highly regarded when it came to high school and college basketball. I just say myself as a great teammate and a leader.
Same.
You know, in that stint, but I was always I was probably one step away from being a man, but I just didn't really want to ruffle a lot of feathers. But by the time I got to be a junior, senior in college, I just had an ego about me that was second to none.
Chip on your shoulder.
Definitely a chip on my shoulder. I used to get into it with my coaches. One of my favorite people on earth, and this gentleman passed away too, is Eddie Payne. Like, when he got a hold of me, like my first coach down in college, I got a new one back when I was in University of South Carolina, upstate. His name was Nottingham. Nottingham was a jerk. But at the same time, like, the dude, me and him used to butt heads all the time, man. Like, it was a story one time we was in practice. I used to make the team run all the time because I was a little bit of a hard-headed guy, and I used to talk back. So he's got this play that he wanted to implement. He's like, we're running the play, and I'm asking a question. He was just like, why are you questioning this play? I got this play from the San Antonio Spurs. And I looked down, I was like, man, we ain't the San Antonio Spurs, bro. Can I ask you a question? He looked at me and said, what? I said, he's like, man, everybody get on the line except Kurt. So he makes me sit on the sideline.
Watch your team.
While the team run. I said, dude,
leadership.
But this is how much of a jerk I was. I wasn't really worrying about my teammates being mad at me running. I was more worried about being a dick to my coach, who was a dick to me. So I was just like, I said, dude, this is not doing nothing to me.
Yeah, because it wasn't.
So he got so mad at me. He was like, man, just go home. Just kick me out of practice that day. And that's what the type of stuff that he's good at. But at one day during the game, he was like, man, there's only one person in this locker room that I go into a foxhole with, and that's Kurt. I don't know if that put me against my team or my team thought me, but they couldn't have done that because we all used to bump heads all the time. So it was just a great situation, but my ego, because of my family upbringing, and always being coached by my family, man, it was something that that allowed me to think I thought I know everything. Yeah, and I didn't. Nobody knows everything, and it's always you can keep learning and translating different things that go on in life and learning.
What you did there?
Yeah, all right, a little fun. So
what you did there.
But yeah, man, but then. Graduated from college, spent a year and a half over in Germany for a hot second. And then, I came back home and that competition, that competitiveness really stayed in me when it came to being a businessman. I ended up, being an elite guy when I started my job being a financial advisor. At one point in time, I had a downtown office in Chicago, Illinois, principal financial group, first black guy to be able to get something like that. So I ran my own office in downtown Chicago.
That's dope.
And I was only like 34 at the time. So, I rose through the ranks pretty fast. But at the same time, it's a tough business, man. It's a very tough business, especially for a black man.
Absolutely.
It's definitely because you're doing more educating than being able to just sales. A lot of, other cultures can just go out and they have, like the Indian culture. They believe in these financial empowerments and education. They believe in the life insurance policies. They can buy life insurance policies on the babies, $1 million policies when they're little infants, whole life policies. Just think of what the cash values are by the time they get to be, 34, 45, 50.
Right.
Those are the type of education that we need to start day one as soon as our kids are born.
Fact.
And that's what I try to pay forward. And when I'm talking to people about financial policy, get a life insurance policy. Don't get it while you're late. Don't get it later. Get it now. Let's get it on the kids now. Let's get it on yourself now. And while you're young, because when it costs them, it's more cost effective. But also it takes time and to build and grow those cash values. So, when it comes back to sports, now I'm doubling down and I'm starting to get back into training. I started getting back into coaching. I won 2 state championships in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Got a 3rd place one as well. Like, man, this journey basketball journey has brought me so many different places in the world.
Oh, yeah.
All across the world and met so many different people, and I had so many great relationships because of sports. And so the sports aspect is embedded into the culture and urban culture so much.
Absolutely.
And I just love how it impacts, so many different genres and aspects of life when it comes to lifestyle, business, education, molding. And that's the reason why I love being such a team player. And because I was a point guard, I can translate to being a leader, but also I can be a servant. Yep. And from that standpoint, because you got to make the assist, but also you might have to make the shot. So that's some of the models that I live by when I always talking about collaborating and being a part of a team situation. There's a lot of people out here that may be, solo artists, and that's okay.
Right.
It's okay to be a solo artist, and I let people stay where they're at and where they want to be. And so that's another reason why, like, you know, when you and I connect, and if you see me out in the streets or see me, and anybody that knows me, I don't mind being in the crowd, but I can also play the background of right. If somebody needs me to play the front, I can play the front.
Definitely play the cut.
And you know how we do, like, Complex Con was this past weekend. You know, tell me a little bit of thoughts about Complex Con. That's a big event. That's my first time.
Okay. So Complex Con, I've been doing Complex Con for a long time.
You OG in that space.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, the cool thing about spaces like that is they came from other spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good to see some of the guys that I looked up to, or guys that were my peers, and really the younger demo too.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this is the second year it's been in Vegas. So I think it's great for Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, supposedly, I guess it's going back to Long Beach for an anniversary next year, which I think is also awesome because I love Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think getting out to Long Beach and doing that weekend is fun too, you know, because there's not as much going on in Long Beach as it is in Vegas.
Right.
So that's the focal thing. And then if you want to really get into some, you know, some craziness, you go to LA, you know, as long as the traffic isn't terrible. And the complex space evolved from like Magic and Agenda, you know, so you see some of the same faces, the same structure. Obviously, the talent and creativity changes, but it's the same formula. And it's really cool because for me, especially now, like I'm so big, you know this from talking to me, like I spend a lot of time thinking. And I've done enough nightlife partying to where that's a dead end for me. You know, that's a dead end for most people, you know, because some people have parlayed, you know,
the
that nightlife into something else. And that's great because everybody loves the party.
But it's tough.
And I'm not above a good time. Don't get it twisted. I can have a good time. But, you know, considering what I want to accomplish and what we talk about accomplishing, I got to be in the right headspace for that. And so Complex Con to me is the right headspace. It's definitely, you know, it's an overload. You know, just of what is it, depth perception or just sensory overload.
Definitely sensory overload.
So it's sensory overload. But once you get your bearings and pick your places, is really cool. It's B2C, business to consumer. So you have that business element in there. You have live entertainment, and it's happening all around you.
I got strippers in that joint.
Yeah, that was that one. That was the first time I didn't seen that. That was crazy.
That was
and then you have creatives all in one room, right? So there's a lot of business that can be talked about. Like, you know, you work closely with Chase Bank, and Chase was in there, you know, and it's a cool environment. And then if you want to go turn up afterward, you have that option. But
especially being here in Vegas, it was so many different.
It's too much going on.
Late night events to go to. So,
but in that space, it's enough going on, and it's not too loud. And you can have really good conversations with, you know, like-minded individuals and build business from there. We I can't even count how many conversations we had.
Oh my God.
And you kind of seen how I was moving around. I couldn't stay still, you know, because there's just too much shit going on.
Yeah.
You know, but
you well known in that space.
I appreciate that, man. Well, I mean, I've one of my many different facets is creative directing. So I've worked in fashion, I've worked in streetwear, and I have that experience. I have retail background too, you know. So, and you know, the culture. You talked about Jordan.
Yeah,
we grew up with Jordan too.
Yeah,
you know, that was the go-to. Starter coats were the go-to. You know, that's just a part of our culture. No matter what you do, like I said, I nerded out, but I still keep a fresh pair of kicks on me.
What is nerding out? Why you keep saying that?
Well, nerding out. Like,
I'm probably a nerd too. I tell people nerd all the time. I'm a nerd, but
I think most of us are nerds.
Yeah,
but it wasn't always cool to be a nerd. Like if you go back and watch Revenge of the Nerds in the 90s.
Yeah, that label of a nerd is more like
somebody that was book smart, you know, focused on goals.
Dress is weird.
Just the things that the in crowd isn't necessarily talking about.
Exactly.
Like, you know, I went to Glenville. That's named after John Glenn. He's a scientist from NASA. And I couldn't even point to a scientist when I was at Glenville.
Right.
You know, but I could point to a football player, a basketball player, a baseball player, somebody that wanted to rap, somebody that was hustling in the streets. Well, I wasn't no scientist.
Right.
So if I came in there talking about, oh, look at the stars and the moon, and, you know, if I was talking about flat earth or something crazy, which I can get down that rabbit hole, you know, but imagine me going in there saying that to a bunch of cats in school. They were like, this dude weird.
You a flat earther?
Nah.
Oh, okay. I could really care less. Well,
nah.
people be passionate about that.
Well, I have a perspective on that. I say
we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, it's more of a globe, like snow globe theory.
Right.
If you look at a snow globe.
All right, man, you getting into it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I save it for later. But that's what I mean by nerding out. You know, looking at taking a liking to things that the in crowd wouldn't necessarily take a liking to.
Right.
You know, but I had to keep that straight face. I had to have that poker face on and pull up and show off my Jordans when I got them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had race car coats before. I had like the first black M&M race car coat when everybody's wearing the multicolored joints. Like I can go on and on about the fashion stuff.
Right.
So that's what I mean by nerding out. You know, but I see it's more well received now. We're in a different time and age.
It translated well over to the complex kind of. It works, like you said, for your creative. And that's why I like you being my partner and everything else like that. I just like, man, Nick is a creative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're so solid in that capacity, man. I say, oh man, Nick, handle that.
Right.
You tell me what to handle. And it's just we piggyback off each other in such a well space. And I mean, the things that's going to come down the pipeline, oh my God. But, you know, keep going on about the Complex Con situation.
Yeah, so Complex Con was really dope.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see the brands out there.
Right.
Good to see the new entertainment. Good to see the OGs in there.
Yeah.
You know, Ben Baller was in there.
Yeah.
It was too many names.
Yeah.
Too many to name, you know, but it's a good experience. I think it's needed, especially for the younger generation where they can get in an environment and see who paved the way if they're paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good for us to see how much the culture is changing and evolving. So you take a lot from that experience. You go back to the drawing board, tweak a couple things that you may have had in the pipeline and really, you know, go from there, you know. And I saw a lot that weekend where I'm like, okay, there's a lot of plays we can run. I'm not going to give the sauce on the show on the first episode. But,
right.
You know, there's some things we both saw.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, it was cool to still be embraced because I took a hiatus from that space a while ago. So you always think you're out of touch when you took a break. And now that I'm back in it and been back in it, you know, I'm picking up steam and, you know, plays that I thought may have fell to the wayside is just evolving into something different. So we got a lot in store. You know, we're going to save it for later. But I'm excited. You know, I'm excited. I'm left and right branded. So
yeah.
I have a corporate background. I know the business acumen. So when you talk to me about business, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm a creative at heart. So when I see certain stuff, I'm inspired. You know,
there's definitely some stuff that inspire in that space, man. Like, you know, you see me sitting there, I'm like, shoot, I want to go buy some shit.
Yeah,
it's like man, like
because you're buying direct.
Yeah,
buying
direct,
creative.
So, but you know, when you thinking about like. Right, especially right now in this economy or in where this world at, they're taking away malls. I used to just like going into the mall just to look at stuff, to get inspiration.
Yep.
And you know, I come from a culture background. My mom just kept me into all different types of culture because she was a teacher. So, history. I'm a big history guy. I love artwork. She used to take me to the art museums, and I used to look at art. So when you say nerded out, I'm very nerded out to a person in that capacity as well because of some of the things that you like. Like, you know, I like Star Wars movies. I like, you know, all these different types of like almost every type of movie except romance. I'm pretty much all in on.
Yeah.
Because horror, action. Huh? You don't like horror?
I hate horror.
Damn, really?
I don't like horror.
Man, I can sit there and fall asleep during a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean,
my mom raised me on that. I used to sit there and watch Tales from the Crypt, like laying on the bed, and that little funny, scary little, skeleton dude. The Crypt Keeper. Yeah. Oh my God, that dude was hilarious to me, and I'm laughing at a young age.
Yeah,
but you know,
that's wicked. So psychotic, bro. Psychotic.
Hell.
I mean, I could laugh at more.
Remember Tales from the Hood?
I'll tell you who funny.
They had them little nigglets.
Yeah, little nigglets. Yeah, that's crazy.
That was so funny.
I'll tell you who's funny.
What?
Who he wasn't funny when I was a kid.
Leprechaun?
No.
Oh, that was funny.
No, Freddie.
Freddie
Krueger.
Freddie was hilarious.
Freddie, as an adult, I might have caught a clip, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of wild. I didn't even.
Right.
As a kid, this dude, I'm like, I see what it was this guy could come in your dreams.
Yeah.
And get you in your dreams. I'm like, fuck, I got to go to sleep tonight. Like, dog, this can get me in my dreams, bro.
Yeah.
And what's wild, in East Cleveland, we got an Elm Street, and Freddie is from the director. He's from Cleveland.
Okay.
So that would freak me out even more too because Elm Street is in EC. Anybody from East Cleveland, all my East Cleveland people, because I'm from East Cleveland, you know. So like, I'm like, dog, I grew up on Shawview. I grew up in a bunch of different cities near St. Clair, but or streets, I'm sorry, streets near St. Clair. And I used to live on Shawview in East Cleveland, and right on the corner is Elm. So I'm like, is this the same street? Like,
you
this
scared of that? I put a little fear in you?
Me out.
Man, come on, G. The only thing that really put fear in me when I was younger probably was first Candyman. That first
Candyman was wild too.
Man, first Candyman.
Can't even look in the mirror.
Oh my God, that was OD. And that really scared me the most, probably there. But you know, I had a My Buddy doll. You remember them joints?
Yeah, I had My Buddy.
So I had a My Buddy doll. And I used to watch a chick. Yeah, mine was black too. He had curly hair. But you know,
Chucky. Yeah, when you saw Chucky.
Yeah, I saw Chucky. Like, I threw my Buddy doll in that closet.
Go, buddy.
Yeah, he
gotta go, buddy. Get him out of here. Get him up out of here.
I had to put him straight in that closet, G. So, you know, that was probably the only two things that scared me. But after, you know, I came to a realization, like, he ain't never going to wake up. I was good after that point in time. But, like, Candyman was probably the one that scared me. But any other scary movie, it never bothered me. Like, Jason, I was like, I'm just thinking about, like, man, he would never come to the hood at this point in time.
Right.
One. But, you know, it's just like he always in, like, the woods of the wilderness. I'm not going to the woods of the wilderness.
No.
I wasn't a hiker or a camper type of kid growing up. Yeah. So, you know, it was like, I don't know where that fool was going to be at. But he's not going to be in the hood. He's going to get shot up if you come to, you know, Wycombe Lane. But at the same time, it was just where he was. And so that never really made me... That's the type of thought process I was in when it came to scary movies. I was making them more logical than anything else. But Candyman, that looked like he can be at the hood and pull up right where I'm at just by going into the bathroom saying them three words.
I would never say.
I've done it a few times. I survived.
I mean, clearly, you see him intact. You see him cool. No, but you know, for me, I grew out of that.
Right.
I'm big on action, comedy. I like sci-fi.
Right.
I like romance. Or drama movies, sci-fi, thriller. I do thriller, like, you know, what's my Bruce Willis movie? Well, no, it wasn't Bruce Willis. It was Sixth Sense. Was that Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
that was
Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
Sixth Sense.
I See Dead People.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that was wild. Stuff like that I can get into.
Yeah,
you know. But anyway, not to get long-winded on it. But you're saying the movies and things like that, things that inspired you and stuff like that. So, you know, I think. Overall, the experience was great. You know, we have a lot to look forward to with the show.
For sure, man.
It's
gonna be fun.
We just gave the people a little bit of insight. You know, we had to let everybody know who we are. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see how we transform the landscape of the media space in Las Vegas, because we based in Las Vegas. We have the beautiful Origin Studios. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Got to give them a shout out. This place is amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah, some really good, some talented shows are in here.
Podcast.
So yeah, a podcast. So I got to give credit when credit is due.
Yeah.
Because it's no threat to us and what we are, you know, getting ready to contribute to the space. All collaboration opportunities.
Some of those guys are going to be on our show. We're going to be working with some of them. So, I mean, you also got a sponsorship deal yesterday. You know, Dos Azul, your people. They brought tequila out. So, you know, they're saying they're going to break bread with us a little bit. So give a shout out to them. We got the 3 of their bottles sitting here. We're going to give them show them some love.
Absolutely.
Also, SCL Co., the agency.
Yes.
They're going to be a title sponsor for us as well.
Yeah,
so we're rocking their brand. Yeah, we rocking their apparel. So it's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. My Blair Associates, my company. We're going to be definitely in collaboration with this translation media thing. So, man, it's everything is going to be coming down the pipeline, man, and it's going to be a real fun journey that we're going to be taking people on.
Absolutely. I have to also include our partners in Pure Entertainment and the Kickback IP.
For sure.
Alex, a.k.a. Sin City Thriller, is my guy. Is also a partner. And, yeah, the things that we've started to do in the city collectively amongst the three of us and all of everyone else in our ecosystem.
For sure.
There's so much opportunity for collaboration. And, you know, even just the DS Azul connection, you know, hopefully it can be a long-term partner, just being completely transparent. You know, there's just too many opportunities to collaborate. The city is growing.
Definitely.
And we have so much opportunity to stick together. So it's a matter of how everyone will receive the growth and opportunities. For us, you know, I think that the biggest thing is we know that that's what we want to do, because that's the only way we're going to thrive.
For sure.
If I've lived in New York and LA, and a lot of collaborating have happened for people to get to where they are.
Oh, I had that.
And it just makes great for storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, and coming from those areas outside of Cleveland, because that was the thing. I left Cleveland trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to a New Jersey or New York, and I go to LA, and I see the guys that are in the creative spaces, be it music, fashion, whatever, and they're collaborating. If you look at like in fashion, in the houses that as they call them, there was always a new up and coming designer. Tom Ford worked for Gucci, you know. So now somebody's in Tom Ford's house becoming the next thing, you know. So it starts somewhere. You get the opportunity somewhere, and so that's how I look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
And this is what I look forward to because that's what I thrive off of is building. So do you. And so, you know, in a nutshell, I think that people have to look forward to us wanting to give back and collaborate with like-minded. We realize not everybody's going to take the opportunity. And, you know, we wish them well.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody in this city and abroad should be taking a liking to what we're going to do because that's the whole objective, you know, and you can't stop us. So don't try, you know, and, but also just understand we come with a peace offering.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it's not a threat. We're not stepping on toes. You know, we're planning to do some real big things, not just in Vegas, but all over, you know, and that excites me even more. So, you know, we got a lot to look forward to in these next couple episodes.
Man, it's going to be a great journey, bro. And, you know, just make sure that to echo your sentiments, we want everybody that wants to reach out to us because we're going to have so many different topics and genres from, you know, business to sports to fashion to current events to lifestyle events. And we're going to be also shooting on some off-site things. We're going to be pulling up to a business near you to highlight some of the businesses in the community. And we're going to be bringing in a lot of different people to have great conversations with and learn about people that are, some are behind the scenes, but some aren't even really out there like that to echo what they're really doing, but they need to be highlighted and touched on. So
absolutely.
I just want to make sure, man, definitely it's a great episode.
Yeah.
And man, let's tell everybody this is stay solid, G.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we definitely look forward to building with the businesses and local community. That's the aim for what we're trying to accomplish between all of our IPs. And, you know, we welcome that opportunity, not just liquor partners, but banks, brands, clothing brands, whatever. You know, we already got a couple sponsors, so we're looking to really connect the dots with all of our community here because we both have been here for, you know, I've been here for 10 years and you've been here for
about 7, 8. Giving out.
So you've been, we've been doing just
I left for a couple years. I left.
But you, this is the longest I've ever stayed in another city.
Oh yeah.
And I've lived in a few different cities. So, you know, even the lid I'm wearing right now is the Gamblers, you know, Aviators.
It's a great place to play in Roots Ag, man. If you really know what your intentions are.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't have a lot of you know, when they talk about moving here, living here, they're like, hey man, I would be caught up. No, you wouldn't. What's your intentions? What's the same thing you do when you're at home? So But you know, we coming.
Right. And to be very clear about intentions on the city, there's two sides to this city. And I encourage anybody that knows us, that understands what we want to do in this city, to understand how important it is to uplift the local community.
Definitely.
You know, you could come in here and you can get a bag on the strip. That's great. Is that going to be well received in the city? Not necessarily. And I'm going to be very vocal about that because there are some really bright, intelligent, creative people in this community that I talk to on a regular basis. And I told them to their face, looked them dead in their eyes and said, any opportunity I get to amplify your voice, I will, because I understand what it feels like. There's only 3 million people in here and counting in this city. If you take the strip away, it's a small market.
For sure.
It immediately becomes a small market.
Definitely.
You know, coming from Cleveland, we before LeBron, really, and we got a lot of talented people. It's not just about LeBron, but LeBron's impact is a global impact.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest impacts, not only just in sports, but what it was for Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to get into a long-winded story about him,
yeah.
but more so how it felt to have to get out and find other opportunities is the point I'm trying to drive home.
No, I get it.
So I understand, I identify with what's going on in Vegas. So I made it a mission to say, look, everything that I do, I'm going to find a way, directly, indirectly, to amplify the voice. So on our platform, I am very much championing that idea, you know, that we need to start paying more attention to the talent that's in the city.
Definitely.
And as we go along, we're going to amplify that. So I'm excited again. I keep saying I'm excited. I'm extremely excited.
As you should be, man. We go for it. But we want to thank everybody for joining us on this inaugural podcast episode from Translation. This is my guy, Nick Beam.
My guy, Kurt Blair.
Man, for sure, y'all. Stay solid.
Stay solid.